Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to the European Esports Championship. We are here tonight for round number 4. It is the nitty-gritty part of this season as we take in the Belgian Grand Prix from the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. My name is James Head. Unlike the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps not looking like a dinosaur tonight, I'll be taking you through the commentary as lead commentator, as always, for EML and indeed for EEC. And joining me in the commentary box is my regular Welsh partner in crime. It is Mr. Michael Edwards. Mike, how are you doing?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love a bit of Spa, and these guys are high caliber drivers, and we're going to see some very high caliber racing.
May's putting in the chat already who loves James. We all love James, and I'm sure we all love Michael just as equal as they do me in the comment section. So hopefully you are all doing well, and of course we've got 16 drivers currently in the lobby, so we are going to be a little bit delayed, but it gives us a very good opportunity to see what happened, of course, last week. And it was Daniel Kelton who took the win, albeit from Daniele Parodi's pretty much recovery spin, as I'm going to call it in commentary. Fantastic win from the Norwegian. Bogdan Moldovan there in second. Endel Soom, the Veloce Academy man, there in third. Very, very strong showing from them. And indeed, what did that do to the championship standings? Well, Team Netherlands weren't even in the top 3. They still lead the way. Their points margin reduced slightly. 24 points the gap to Romania in second on 85.
It was a 3-point gain from the Netherlands, actually, because what's called? So they had, I believe it was Slovenia who was second at that point, and the gap went from 21 to 24.
Ah, interesting. I thought Romania had closed it rather than actually gained from.
Oh, Romania closed the gap, but the gap to second increased by 3.
Yeah, I thought it did. I had Legacy Division commentary last night. You can forgive me. Netherlands on 109, Romania in second on 85. Norway third on 83. France also on 83 as well. I think they were tied as well last week going into the racing. Italy in fifth on 78. Slovenia sixth on 74. Germany in seventh on 53. And then England eighth on 23. Finland in ninth on 20. Austria in 10th on 18 points. Netherlands, though, out on top. Jerry Van Bossel and Ty Jahadi, two former PSGL PSF1 drivers, of course, there for their grid here tonight. But looking at the standings, top 6 teams covered by 35 points. Adding to that Germany, who I don't think are actually out of this with Marlon racing tonight. Germany in 7th, 56 points behind. This point system rewards everyone up to 19th position, Mike. It's still all to play for, even going into possibly the final round of the season.
Exactly, it is all to play for, and obviously with the point system here in the European Esports Championship as well, obviously maximum points you can gain from a weekend is 56 points, and of course the gap between Germany and the Netherlands is exactly 56 points, so there's definitely time for Germany to get themselves back into this, and obviously with the top 6 separated by 35 points, and that gap from second down to 6th only being 11 points, it is really all heating up here in the European Esports Championship.
It is, and it's heating up, I think, to the best sort of the best sort of conclusion as well. Obviously, we had a little bit of controversy, let's just face it, in Monza with some of the racing standards. Hopefully they've got that all out of their system. It is Belgium. I'm expecting pretty much more the same as compared to last week as well. But let's have a look at the grid. We are waiting on one more driver, I believe, to join the lobby. We've got Daniel Kelton and Hazara in for Team Norway. I think the same lineup as last week. Tony Riesch making his debut for Team France, the newly signed OP man from Thomas Enger Racing. He's alongside OP Flopman, who's a very, very astute driver coming through for Team France. Jerry Van Bossel and Ty Hardy, you've known them very, very well on the grids this season. The EEC, they are for Team Netherlands. Matteo and Brando, who I think is now part of TRT, and I think that is Brandox, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong for anyone there in the chat. I think that might be Brandox joining Matteo there for Team Italy. Jensen Randall on PC along with Kieran Humphreys for Team England. They really need to get the points on the board. Primoz Muklavjic and Jone Dovzan, the same lineup for Team Slovenia as last week as well. Julian Klaffenbach, very difficult to say when you've had one too many, and Victor Schmidt there in for Austria. JSD and Annelar Marlon in for Team Germany. Then Matthias Larper of Rising Lions and Thomas Laminen of TF10 for Team Finland, and ET8 Agonize and Bogdan Moldovan being the drivers out on track for Team Romania. And looking through that grid, I say it every week, Mike. It is a stacked and packed field. I'm immediately drawn to one man and one man only, and I commentated on him last night in Legacy Division qualifiers. Matteo, Team Italy, absolutely dominated Console Tier 1 on Friday in Singapore, albeit this is Belgium, this is a longer track. How do you think Team Italy and especially Matteo going to get on around here? Because I think he's one of the favourites to win tonight.
I mean, Matteo, very, very consistent driver, as we know. Obviously, so far this season, for Team Italy, obviously they got the one win, which I believe, if I remember correctly, was round number 1 at Spain, off the top of my head. But yeah, I think Italy. I mean, after what happened last week with Daniela Brody losing it at the end, they're going to be looking to fight back, and Matteo could be the one to be on the top step of the podium this time out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, I think, how everyone gets on. I know Marlon has been very strong around here, has won in TML and EML, indeed, in the past as well for NLR. I think it was in Season 3, Marlon around here. Won around here, if I'm not mistaken. So he's got very good form. He'd be hoping that it is wet conditions as well, because the German man does love a bit of intermediates around here in Belgium. More names to look at as well. Possibly Primoz Maklavčić, if he comes back into form. Certainly going to be interesting to see how he gets on. And the WR Console Tier 1 champion of Season 13 back in the day, Jensen Randall, now on PC, of course, still as part of Team Shazoo. Going to be an interesting name to watch out for, given how Team England have had basically no luck so far this season. Tom getting absolutely ruined in terms of Monza last week. Him and Kieran Humphries alongside each other. Interesting pairing for England, and possibly on paper one of the strongest pairings we've got tonight as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely got the potential to be one of the strongest pairings tonight, but Team England, it's not gone England's way. It's almost like watching the England football team or the England rugby team trying to do something. It looks good, and then it falls away.
Yeah, already Team Netherlands complaining about the connection in the lobby. It is just fluctuating connection. It is one of these things, I think, that we can only deal with so far, because we've got crossplay. We are missing one driver, and for the life of me, I do not know who it actually is until we get into the lobby. I will keep the grid graphic up just for now while we have a look and seeing who is missing. There are 19 drivers in the lobby. Both Team England, by the way, Jensen Randall and Kieran Humphries, do have qualifying bans tonight as well, and that's because of a late sign-up put in an hour late by Mr. Jay Wizzy himself. He put that lineup in, and unfortunately was an hour late, so they have both got qualifying bans, but at least they are racing here tonight. And I'm looking now down my list of drivers that we've got, and again, I cannot for the life of me think who we are missing. We have got pretty much everyone, bar, and I'm trying to see who it is. Is it Daniel Kelton? No, Daniel Kelton's in the lobby. But answers on a postcard, please, who we're missing.
Yeah, so you send them in ASAP. Who are we missing? I mean, I'll do a quick scan at the in just a moment. So,
Bogdan's left.
Moldovan left the session. Unfortunately for him, hopefully he'll be able to get back in as soon as possible. And very overcast here in qualifying, I might say.
Yeah, very overcast indeed. I'm going to drop, if I've got Bogdan on my friends list, I'm going to drop an invite very quickly indeed. Matteo has invited me already back into the lobby just in case. I think there was an earlier invite, though, that he might have given, and I haven't accepted because I just accepted it through PlayStation. I have got Bogdan Moldovan, luckily, on my friends list. And in fact, actually, he's just joined. As soon as I've sent that invite, he's got another one spare now. So he has just joined back, which is really good. And at least that's happened at the start of qualifying rather than at the end of qualifying. Looking through, again, still cannot for the life of me think who we are missing in terms of the lobby. And I'm just trying to have a look.
Sorry, I'll do it. I'll get it done now, don't worry.
I'm just trying to have a look. Is it the other Austrian driver, potentially?
We got Julian in,
Victor.
and I think it is Victor.
It is Victor Schmidt that we are missing. So it looks like Austria are down to one driver. Victor Schmidt, one of the newcomers, obviously, that was going to debut here tonight. I don't think he is actually in the lobby. I think he did get an invite off Matteo. and he just hasn't joined. So not sure what might be going on there, whether it's an issue potentially. Kieran Humphries there retiring already out of the session, as will Jensen Randall, and he is already out on track and getting that setup, of course, on. Kieran Humphries feeling like he doesn't need a setup because he's already retired there in the pit lane. So there we are. Anyways, first drivers out on track are as follows. Marlon is one of the first out on track. Potentially a name to watch out for here tonight. The NLR man has had good form coming into tonight as well. Picked up a podium in PSGL PSF1 2 weeks ago. So looking quite good in terms of his overall pace. He loves Belgium. He loves a bit of wet weather around here. Are we going to get both things from Marlon here tonight?
Potentially, we'll have to wait and see what the weather's saying. I mean, it is looking very overcast right now, so I wouldn't trust the weather too much, but I believe Primoz has overtaken and is going to be the first man to set a lap time now.
Yeah, Mr. Cookie is going to be getting all the cookies, I think, out on track, eating up the ground here out on track in terms of Team Slovenia and in terms of Belgium as well. Of course, a 7-kilometre circuit, this, the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, one of the most historic on the Formula 1 calendar, and let's see what Primoz can do, as I thought it was raining there out on track. I think it's just actually how fast it is going. It is raining, I think, out on track. Coming through turn number 1, we'll see very shortly if it is. I don't think it is. I think it's just on the F1 World Car and the gleam off the halo. I think it is just that. The sun is actually coming out on track. So, yeah, ignore what we've just said. Primoz now coming up the hill through Erosion Radion at turn 3. Now in towards Kemmel Corner on the run down at the Kemmel straight in towards turn number 5. Should be around a 30.2, you would imagine, in the first sector. 29.8, already on par with what I normally see around here in Belgium. So 29.8 from Primoz now coming through this first sector. Now coming through Les Combes on the run down in towards Bruxelles. Bruxelles, of course, being the capital of Belgium. That's why the corner is named, of course, on this track after that. Now comes the left-hander of Jackie X Corner, formerly known as No Name, running down the hill now in towards Pouon, and pretty much the halfway stage of the lap here with Primoz running wide back coming through Pouon, but nicely done to get that within the curbing lines. Now coming in toward the right-hander of the Fania chicane at turns 13 and indeed at turn 14. Not sure if I'm miscounting here. I think we're going through Campos Corner now at turn 15 and then Stavilo at turn 16. This is looking very good from Primoz. 112.5 in the middle sector. Exactly on par with a good banker around here. So the Slovenian doing a good job right now as he comes in toward the fastest part of the circuit, in towards turn 17 at Blanchemont. There is a bit of a shadow, by the way. I'm not sure if you can see that on my screen. It's not on OBS, but there is on my screen a shadow of a wheel arch. So that is very interesting. Primoz now coming through the left-hander of turns 18 and 19 through the bus stop chicane on the run to the line. Primoz should be around a 40.7. 40.5 it is from Primoz. So very, very solid lap from the Slovenian.
Yeah, great lap there from Primoz. Matteo to the line, 40.7. I believe, it's Tycho Hardy there with a 40.4. Goes up provisional pole. I did just have a quick little look of the German, of Brando, I believe it was, on his lap, and I think he did invalidate. Oh, no, sorry, no, Brando. It was Marlon, sorry, that invalidated.
I was going to say, Brando's suddenly turned German, if that's the case.
I was looking at the calculus.
It's difficult to see because Brando's just come to the line, actually. He has just gone into, and I'm just trying to find him. Oh, it was Matteo, sorry, that's just gone into 7th position. JST there in 4th, Flopman there in 3rd. Jörne Dovzan, they're out on top by 1/1000th of a second so far from Tycho Hardy in 2nd. Flopman 3rd, JST in 4th. JSC had very good qualifying in Italy last week, remember, as well, as Marlon runs completely wide. Coming through Pouon there, he's taking track limits to a whole new level around this track early on, the German. Jörne Dovzan, though, out on top. Tycho Hardy 2nd, Flopman there in 3rd. First run's pretty much done, Mike, and Jörne Dovzan for Team Slovenia currently setting the benchmark, but by a very minimal margin from Tycho Hardy.
Yeah, and I believe in the stream as well, there was a bit of support for Jörne and Primoz saying that they could cook something up here today. And it looks like they might actually be doing that.
They could cook something up indeed today as well. Apologies if you lost a little bit of sound there from my capture card. It is back up and running now, so let me know if that is all okay. I am running this at a slightly higher frame rate as well. My CPU is taking the bear load, so do not be surprised if we do drop a few frames here and there on this lobby. It was fine for a 3-hour session in Legacy Division last night, but I'm not sure how it's going to handle an hour and a half stuck with Mike in the commentary box. But there we are. Yone Dobson out on top. Taija Hardy second. Flopman there in third. Daniel Kelton, interesting. He's out of sync compared to everyone else. Of course, the race winner last week in Italy. Veloce Academy man, of course. He has been named in the in the Veloce Academy lineup for EOR, if I'm not mistaken, on PC. So, congratulations to him and to the Veloce Academy guys for that. And Daniel Kelton, very, very strong name to have. Veloce Academy man, named in that EOR lineup for this season. Definitely going to now put EOR on notice if some of them are watching. See how Daniel Kelton does and see how Veloce Academy does here.
Yeah, and of course, Daniel Kelton. I mean, after last week, it was an absolute impervious drive from the Norwegian, and to take victory as well. Obviously, it was kind of handed on the final lap, but it doesn't take away from the effort that Daniel Kelton put in throughout the entire race last week.
No, and to be honest, I've had people say in my DMs after that race, would Daniele Parodi have actually got the race win? It was very difficult because Daniel had control of the race at the final part, down in towards turn 1. He had that control of the race. Daniele was just so late on the brakes. If he broke a little bit earlier for the corner, I think he would have got the car stopped. But whether or not Daniel would have came back then down the Curva del Seraglio in towards Ascari would have been interesting. So, never know, we might get to see that once again here tonight. Daniel Kelton now coming through the right-hand return number 1 at Les Combes. Now, at Les Combes, at La Source even. Goodness me, coming up the hill now through Arouge, and that's Radion actually at the top of the hill through turn number 3. Now down the Camel Straight once again, passing Dutch Corner on the left-hand side. I'm sure there's a Norwegian flag there somewhere as well, as Daniel Kelton comes through the end of the first sector. 29.9, so actually off on Primoz' first sector. Through the first sector by only 200th of a second, but off in terms of the first sector. So Daniel not looking quite tidy out there so far through the first sector.
I mean, the first sector is all about the traction really that you get out of the sources. Daniel Kelton is invalidated there through Jackie Hicks, and yeah, I mean, what I was about to say was the middle sector is where really you're going to gain and find the time over the rest of the competitors.
Definitely so, and I think middle sector certainly would have been very technical, especially through this part of the lap, coming through the Fania chicane, then in towards Campos, then into towards Curve Paul Frere, otherwise known as Stavolo. Daniel Kelton was on it at 12.5, that was, in the middle sector. He's out of sync, as I say, compared to everyone else. I think the first man out on track, if I'm not mistaken, for the second round, as Tony Reich has got an illegal blocking penalty. We're going to be restarting the lobby at the end of qualifying, which is joy oh joys. Just looking through who might be the first man out on track. It is Matteo once again in the Alfa Romeo Kick livery, or as they're now known as the Stake F1 team. I could do with a lovely stake, to be honest, after this race. Matteo, though, in 9th position. The Italian, a 140.7, 0.3 of a second off Yone Dobson. Still within firing range, though, to get a good lap in.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, I mean, Matteo definitely in a very good position as he's about to begin his lap right now. I believe Daniel Kelton did set a pretty competitive lap time, even though he was invalidated, just to get that time delta on the board, which is ideal for the Norwegian as well.
Yeah, it's important to get the delta on the board because you've got a real indication of where you're going to be. Matthias Larper there in 6th position, just starting up on lap as well. He's definitely outgunning me in terms of my prediction for him here out on track tonight. Rising Lion is rising above my expectations, certainly, as Matteo now comes up the hill in towards Les Combes at the end of the first sector, and a 30 flat through the first sector for Matteo, completely off on Primoz's first sector. Coming through now Les Combes, on the exit of Les Combes, doesn't look happy, I've got to be honest. Coming out of Les Combes, just a little bit tentative in terms of the speed. Matteo now coming down the hill in towards Jackie Hicks. Again, he's flinging the car in all of the right places, but it just looks a little bit of a shoddy lap to me.
I mean, we're going to have to see if he's managed to find time in the middle sector, but yeah, I mean, at the moment, he definitely has a lot of work to do. I mean, he was 0.08 of a second down on his sector one time, and the middle sector is looking good, but it's not looking like it's going to be an improvement. We'll have to wait and see now. And in fact, it is an improvement. Never mind, shut up, Mike, as he's over a 10th up in the middle sector now.
What do we know in the commentary box? 10th up in that middle sector. Nazke actually making a very good point. Sector 1 is almost all wing related, so it looks like Matteo is carrying extra downforce, maybe carrying lower wings through this middle sector. Now into the bus stop chicane at the final corner. Oh, flings the car in, makes a slight mistake. He just about corrects it. It's going to lose him time now all the way to the line. Matteo to the line, did lose him time in the end. 500ths down on that lap time. It was just a slight correction. He took almost a little bit too much speed in, but it wasn't. It was just a correction mid-corner. And that's unfortunate for Matteo, because I think he would have... he's basically lost 0.2 of a second just through the bus stop chicane alone, so he knows where he's going to find the time next.
Yeah, he knows he's got the time there, so we'll have to wait and see as Dovzan there goes on provisional... improves his lap time there with a 40.1, wow. And it's absolutely incredible there. Taicho Hardy, I believe, also improved as well with a 40.3.
Yeah, 40.3 indeed. Apologies, I've got an ice cube in my mouth. Yone Dovzan, Taicho Hardy, Tony Rouge coming to the top 3. Going to switch onto my other side now. Flopman there in 4th. Brando there now going 4th. But Flopman looking good in the middle sector. The Frenchman now coming up in toward the bus stop chicane. Matthias Larper had a little bit of trouble there with a broken front wing. So he's obviously had a spin somewhere out on track. Possibly had a Jackie X corner. Flopman though on the run to the Frenchman. No flop there, goes 3rd.
Yeah, on board with JST as he comes to the line, goes 3rd ahead of Flopman.
And Jerry Van Bussel, interestingly, is 3/10 down at the end of the first sector. He's ran out of fuel completely. Looks like he's on the run at the minute. 13th position, though, for Jerry Van Bussel. He did very well around here in PSGL PSF1, but Jerry Van Bussel in 13th, not often a place you normally see a PSGL F1 champion to be.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going Jerry Van Bussel's way right now here in qualifying, but unfortunately it is qualifying and not the race in its entirety, and we don't know what the weather is. Maybe he's running slightly higher wings to compensate for maybe some changeable conditions in the race.
Maybe some changeable conditions in the race indeed. We might get the whole Monza sort of weather scenario where we had everyone complaining, saying, oh, it's going to rain at the end of the race, put it on rain in the final slot, and then you would have had rain on the final lap of the race. And what we can only do what's necessary, and obviously we had to run dry weather for Italy last week.
Yeah, Primo's a 10th up in the middle sector, coming into the bus stop chicane right now. A small mistake in the chicane, in fact. He's made a mistake in the bus stop chicane. Into the pits he comes, but Primo's there. A 10th up, even with that mistake in the middle sector, definitely could look like he can make this a Slovenian 1-2 here.
So are we saying potentially that Primoz and Matteo, after both making the mistakes through the bus stop chicane, are they subsequent to improvements potentially out on track? And as well, as throwing into that, Daniel Kelton hasn't got a lap time on the board right now. He invalidated his first run. He's in 16th. 16th. Remember that Nepenthes meme that's been going about the sim racing community in Bahrain? 16th for Daniel Kelton right now. Not good news whatsoever at all for him. Marlon there down in 19th, a little bit of a shock as well. Hopefully he can get a lap time on the board. It's 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Yone Dovzan leading the way. Taicho Hardy 2nd. JST there in 3rd. Then Flopman 4th. Tony Rouge on his debut for Team France in 5th. Then Brando in 6th with Hazara 7th. Primoz McClavcic there in 8th. Larper there in 9th. And Thomas Laminin rounding off the top 10. Then it's Matteo, Bogdan Moldovan, Jerry Van Bussel, Agonize, and Julian Klaffenbach, the top 15. Daniel Kelton there in 16th. Jensen and Kieran, of course, both with qualifying bans off their late sign-up there, 17th and 18th. And Marlon with no time on the board there down in 19th position. Myself, James Head, and Mr. Michael Edwards taking to the commentary here for the European Esports Championship round number 4. And we are going to ride on board with a Veloce Academy man coming up the hill in toward the bus stop chicane. Daniel Kelton about to set on his sight of a 7-kilometre lap here in Belgium.
Yep, and last opportunity as well, because I believe there's about 3 minutes ago remaining in the session, and in fact that was 2.5 minutes ago, as I just saw a little glimpse of it there. But coming down into turn number 1, Source, and getting the car turned in. A lot of traffic coming out of the pit lane, so you want to hope that they get out of the way ASAP as we head down into our Rouge and Radion.
He's going to get a little bit of slipstream, it seems, here as well. And I think, is that his teammate just ahead of him as well? If that has been worked out to absolute perfection, it has. It is his teammate right ahead of him. That's Azara giving him the slipstream. Daniel Kelton, through this first sector, going to be obliterated everyone's first sector, 29.5. How is that for slipstream tactics? That was absolutely brilliantly pulled off by Team Norway. Daniel Kelton now on the run down the hill in towards Bruxelles. Already setting his sights on a very good lap here. He's up in that first sector. Might be the case why Yone is 2/10 clear of Taicha Hardy, with him using maybe a little bit of slipstream. But Daniel Kelton currently on fire as he comes down in towards Puon.
Yeah, and he is probably attacking the track. Traffic ahead. And I think he might have lost just a slight bit of time there. Obviously, he's got traffic to contend with. And Daniel Kelton, if he is able to pull this off 11.9 in the middle sector, how is he still going right now?
11.9 in the middle sector, and he's had about 3 drivers block him in terms of this lap. This kid is special. He's coming now through the left-hander of Blanchimont at turn 17. If he's not going top, I'll eat my own hat, quite literally. I've got the rising line tap right side me. Daniel Kelton now through the left-hander of the final corner of the bus stop chicane. A 40.1 to beat, and he does. 39.9. I'm not eating my own hat. Absolute testament to his skill there.
Absolutely incredible. And with all the traffic to contend with as well, I honestly have no words for that. But it looks like Team Slovenia are going to have a little bit of teamwork as well down the Camel Street, as I believe there is Primoz getting the slipstream from Yone Dovzan.
Off in the first sector as Primoz compared to Daniel Kelton. He's 2/10 up on his own lap, but compared to Daniel Kelton's first sector, he's about 300ths of a second down. So, in comparison, I'll try and get the middle sector and the final sector split up respectfully. I'm sure Mike will have a look at that in the race directorship as well. Primoz now coming through this middle sector, coming through Jackie Ick's corner. He is on it. Daniel Kelton made a mistake through there. He looks very, very quick. But as well, Daniel Kelton backed off the throttle. Coming through Puon. This is where we face the traffic. Coming in toward the Fania chicane. Primoz has got absolutely nothing like that to contend with. I think it's Marlon on a lap ahead of him, if I'm not mistaken. Primoz now coming in toward the middle sector. An 11.9 middle sector combined. Primoz Klavjic 12.2 in the middle sector. So 3/10 down on Daniel Kelton. Not going to be going anywhere near the Norwegian, it seems, at this stage. Is he going to feature, though, in between the Slovenian and the Dutchman in second and third? That's where we're going to have a look at. Primoz now in toward the final corners. I think Tony Riesch is on the run toward the line as well. He, as well, Julian Klaffenbach goes third. Very good lap time from the Austrian man. Now the Slovenian, Primoz Klavjic coming through the final corner. Is he going to go into second with this lap? No, goes fourth shy of Julian Klaffenbach. Taicha Hardy there is improving in the middle sector. Just trying to see who's towards the end of this lap. Tony Riesch is on the run toward the line, as well as Jerry Van Bossel. Jerry's through the final corner. He's just got Tony Riesch behind him. Both of them are going to come across the line pretty much at the same point. Jerry Van Bossel to the line 12th. And Tony Riesch goes 7th. So an improvement from him. Brannock's down in the first sector. Hazara's up in the middle sector, but not doing anything special. A 10th up here in the Norwegian. Comes through the Blanchimont. Now in towards turns 18 and 19. Daniel Kelton out on top. Yone Dovzan second. Julian Klaffenbach there in third. JST still yet to come across the line as well. I think he's just in behind the final gaggle of cars. Hazara now to the line, goes 6th, so goes ahead of GST. GST improving 400ths of a second in the end. In the end, Taicha Hardy goes 4th. JST there going 6th. Tony Riesch there at 9th. Brando can only manage 11th. Didn't find improvement in the end. That is the end of qualifying. Daniel Kelton out on top has got his teammate to thank for that lap, and as well the amount of blocking that he had. It was phenomenal in terms of pole position. Yone Dovzan second. Julian Klaffenbach there in third. But it's Daniel Kelton by 2/10 of a second. And all of that, Mike, I think came down to that first sector and that slipstream that he got.
Yeah, it was an incredible bit of teamwork there from Daniel Kelton and Hazara there. But, I mean, for the rest of the lap, I do not know how Daniel Kelton did not lose more time and even pick up an invalidation, because that would have put me off massively.
He was right on the curb coming through Campos, and I thought, this is going to be an inevitable invalidation, but it wasn't. Daniel Kelton there out on top, 2/10 of a second clear of Yone Dovzan in second. Julian Klaffenbach there in third. Taicha Hardy in fourth, Primoz Klavjic there in fifth. JST in sixth. Hazara 7th. Mateo there in 8th. Tony Riesch on his debut there in 9th, along with OP Flopman in 10th. Brando there in 11th, with Larper in 12th. Joe Van Bossel 13th. Marlon 14th, 1,000th of a second separating them. Thomas Laminen in 15th, disappointing. Agonized Bogdan Moldovan 16th, 17th, and then 2 Team England drivers of Jensen Randall and Kieran Humphreys right down at the back of the field. We are going to go on an advert break. We are going to go on an intermission break as well. We will see you back in a few minutes when the lights go green because, of course, we are restarting the lobby with that illegal blocking penalty. So we'll be back with you in around about, what, 5 minutes time, I would say?
Yeah, about that.
Welcome back, everyone, to the European Esports Championship. Hopefully, I haven't given you any shocks for coming live without no music on, but we are here for round 4 of the championship. You can see on your screen right now, in terms of the standings, how the land lies comes into tonight. The Netherlands leading the way on 109 points, Romania second and on 85, Norway third on 83, along with France on 83, Italy fifth on 78. Slovenia 6th on 74, Germany 7th on 53, England, Finland, and Austria 23, 20, and 18, respectively. In terms of the standings, myself, James Head, and Ivor Bryn Mike, Mr. Michael Edwards taking you to the action as well. Team Netherlands out on top for one member of the Team Netherlands team, Tyja Hardy, well up there. Jerry and Bussell in the end 12th, so Netherlands are up against it already.
I believe he crossed the line in 13th for actually, Jerry Van Bussell, so it's even further back for him to try and fight his way through. But we know Jerry is a very competent driver and he can make his way through the field. So it won't surprise me if by the end of the race we see him in and around the top 5, because generally that's typically where he usually ends up.
Typically, that is where he usually ends up. He is a man that rides a lot of luck, I've got to be honest as well, does Jerry Van Bussell. And he has ridden luck around here to get a podium before in PSGL. So he'd be looking to try and get on the moves in terms of the action out on track. And speaking of the action out on track, let's remind you of the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. 7 kilometres length, 4.3 mile, 19 turns awaiting our drivers out on track. 2 DRS zones, 1 down the start finish train towards the source, 1 in towards turn 7 at turn 5 even, down the Kemmel Straight in toward Lake Holm. And Mike, this is an opportunity for a lot of overtaking to happen, a lot of good action to happen out on track as well. I'm excited, are you?
I am on the edge of my seat waiting and rearing to go, because that qualifying session just showed how tightly compact the field is, and it's going to promote a lot of good action, I think.
Yeah, and I remember as well, a reminder of qualifying as well in terms of the grid order. Daniel Kelton for Team Norway out on top. Jone Dovzan for Team Slovenia second. Julian Klaffenbach there in third, outscoring Tyja Hardy in qualifying. It is going to be a dry race as well, so you'll be delighted to know there is no sign of rain on our screens at all. Beautiful blue skies because it is a dry track. Mateo's decided to put clear weather on, so there is no quarrels about what the weather is going to be doing out on track here tonight. Primo's there in 5th as well, but Daniel Kelton, the man who holds the cards right now, my shocker, I think, in that top 5, Julian Klaffenbach. I haven't really commentated on him, to be honest, for Team Austria, but he has shown very good attributions around here to try and deliver a good result.
Yeah, that's exactly what Team Austria need right now. Obviously, they're down in 10th place in the championship. They're currently the holders of the wooden spoon. And, Joe, it's a fantastic opportunity for Austria to climb themselves up the order a bit. With Julian up there in P3, whether or not he'll be able to hold on to it is another question. We have 22 laps to find that out here at Spa.
We do indeed. I'm not sure when the drivers have been told to ready up. They haven't been given the time to ready up, so they could ready up at any time, to be honest. So, the 5 red lights will go out very soon indeed here in Belgium. Let me know in the comment section who you're supporting, who you are thinking in terms of your top 3. I am immediately going to go in and say Tycho Hardy for the win.
Ooh, do you know what? I'm going to go with Jone Dovzan.
Jone Dovzan. So
Yeah.
You're going for 2nd and I'm going for the man starting in 4th.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm being a little bit bolder with my predictions. Anyway,
I'm going to go even bigger. double podium for Slovenia.
5 red lights, though, about to go out here in the European Esports Championship, and we're underway. Daniel Kelton gets a good stop, but Jone Dovzan's already into the lead of the race and towards the source. At turn number 1, flies around the outside on the mediums and gets the job done. Gets ahead of Daniel Kelton, and Tyja Hardy's had a good start as well. He's looking for 2nd, actually, running down the hill in towards Rouge and Radion, and Jone Dovzan and Tyja Hardy, our 2 picks, even, the first 2 for the lead so far. Daniel Kelton and Julian Klaffenbach running behind as well. 3 wide down the straight in towards Lake Om. Yone and Taicho side by side. Taicho doesn't want to put this down the inside line. Doesn't want to put him into threat. Yone goes a little bit too deep. Taicho goes even deeper. Forces him off track. And Taicho Hardy leads coming through Lake Om, albeit very aggressively. Yone Dobzan second. Daniel Kelton there in third. Julian Klaffenbach there in fourth. Everyone on a set of mediums and hards, apart from the man who's there in the lead of the race. Taicho Hardy going bold and big and brilliant. He's there in the lead of the race going into Puop.
Yeah, obviously the only man on the set of the soft compound tyres. He's absolutely flying his way to the front of the field. And interestingly, Primo's picking up a 3-second time penalty here on lap number 1.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of argy-bargy going through the middle part of Lake Holm, if I'm not mistaken, and that's where Primoz, I think, picked up that 3-second penalty. Taicho Hardy, though, fastest middle sector out of everyone, leading the way. Thomas Laminen is making a move done on Marlon, laminating that position up to 13th position. Marlon there in 14th. Lapa 15th, Agonized there in 16th. Side by side as well in the foreground. Matteo and Hazara going side by side. 2 ET8 teammates at the end of the day. And they're going side by side as Primoz dives it to the inside line on JSD just in front of camera shot. Now comes around the outside into the bus stop chicane. Is a Team Slovenian man through. Tony Risha's round in the background. Could be a VSC getting deployed soon. He's back underway, luckily, in 17th. And Jensen might have got caught up slightly in that as well. Matteo diving it to the inside line on JSD, trying to get the job done. Still can't get the job done on him. Taicho Hardy leads. Yone Dobzan second. Daniel Kelton there in third. Good move by JSC, though, to fight back for 6th.
Yeah, and I think a little bit of contact between the two England drivers at the back of the field, and I thought I just saw Jensen tap the rear of Kieran.
Matteo going side by side, trying to get the move done on JSD around the outside and toward Lake Holm. It's going to be bold from the Italian. It's going to be brave, but it's not going to be brilliant as JSD fights back to the outside line, coming to the middle part of Lake Holm, and he's still through and he's into P6. Matteo there in 7th. Racing already going. Taicho Hardy leading the way on that set of soft compound tyre. 5/10 through of Yone Dobzan. If I'm a betting man right now, I'd say Mike has got this right, certainly from a tyre perspective.
I mean, you went for Taicho, I went for Yone, so let's see who's Mystic Michael, who's Mystic James tonight.
Mystic Michael, I think, has got a better ring to it than Mystic Meg does. Put it that way. Taicho Hardy leading the way. Yone Dobzan second. Daniel Kelton third. There is a possible race strategy coming up on your screen. One stop lap 9 to 10 from a set of softs to mediums. Possibly a little bit earlier, I would say, on a set of softs to possibly a set of hards. And then, for Yone Dobzan, he'll be going mediums to hards towards the end of the race. And he'll be pitting, I would assume, around about the same point as Taicho Hardy will do. As Joe van Bussel, speaking of Team Netherlands, is on the back of Flopman in towards the final corner. Not going to get the job done as Brando and Hazara, former ET8 driver and Brando and Hazara, current ET8 driver, as Marlon and Jensen have been caught up in an incident further down the field. Tony Reich losing the position behind Kieran Humphreys as well. Marlon into the pit lane, been a disastrous start from the German. A man that's shown very good form around here, I think, wants to see the back end of this race, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not gone the way of Marlon here tonight for Team Germany. And speaking of Team Germany, Matteo all over the back of his teammate, JST, and they're on the back of Primoz as well. This could be a double overtake for Matteo down the inside, perhaps.
He's going to risk it. Oh, he has a half snap coming through the corner and again catches the curb. How on earth he saved that? Yes, he's lost the position to Primoz, who spins. Primoz in the wall. Primoz in the wall. That should be a safety car. It's a VSC. VSC deployed, out on track. Primoz spins by himself. No contact in that. Just spun on that outside curb. Curbs are pretty deadly around this track. Primoz has just found that out. Matteo found that out just before that as well, coming through Lake Orm. But Primoz out of the race, didn't deserve that at all. Matteo now inherits P6. The rest of the guys inheriting the same positions as well. But a VSC out on track brings about a change-up in the race, change-up potentially in tactics. But Primoz in the wall, unfortunate for him, nothing you can do about it, though, when you get caught on the outside curve and there's only one way you're going, and that's in the wall.
Yeah, and to take a very bad pun away from James, because usually it's James with the bad puns, you could say the cookie crumbled.
Oh, that is terrible. Yeah, that's insincere towards cookies. Terrible. No. You could say also apple tumbled under the pressure, but there we are. Oh, the cookie crumbled. There you go. There you go. Taisha Hardy out on top, Yone Dobson second, Daniel Kelton there in third. On lap 4 out of 22, DRS, of course, will be enabled when this VSE gets back underway, which I'm assuming will be very, very soon indeed. Coming to the right-hander now of turn number 1 at the source. Looking at the position gains, actually, early on in this race. Taisha Hardy's gained 3. Nobody's got a drive-through penalty, luckily, as we get back underway. Most position gained, though, further down the field. One Bogdan Moldovan. And remember what happened last week with Bogdan, Mike? He was on the podium in Italy, so he's got good form coming into tonight, and he's already gained 6 positions.
Yep, brilliant start there for Bogdan Moldova, and up 6 positions. Not gone the way of Tony Risha down in 15th, down 6 positions for him there. So the Frenchman falling down the order, and the Romanian getting up the positions.
Yeah, and actually the fin of Lapa is all over the back of the Romanian's teammate in Agonize. Agonize is looking on the back of Thomas Laminen as well. And it's interesting, actually, because Thomas Laminen, we normally expect to be pretty quick around a track like Belgium. And obviously, in the past here at EEC, he's been very quick at other tracks. Thomas Laminen, though, up against it. And has he got a little bit of damage potential on that car? Because he ran wide there coming through, as now Agonize looks the inside line in towards the Fania chicane. Can't find a way through there, come the ET8 man. Agonize, I think, might form potentially part of the ET8 lineup for Legacy Division as well.
Thomas Laminen is missing a front right end plate. Front left end plate, sorry.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I thought he had damage on the car, and he's got left side end plate damage on that car. So good spot by Mike. Certainly better spot by me, because I was the first one to say that. Thomas Laminen there in 12th. Under pressure from Agonize, under pressure from Lapa. Luckily, though, for Thomas Laminen, he has got good speed, which is carrying him forward. As Tony Reich has left the session, I haven't got him on my friends list, so unless he gets invited in by his teammate Flopman, who is in a battle right now, don't think Tony Reich is going to be joining back soon. I will try and get him in, though, if I can. As Yone Dobson's going to attack for the race lead and Taisha Hardy.
Yep, Yone Dobson about to breeze through with DRS, and the issue now for Taisha Hardy is that those tyres are going to begin to fall away from him now, as we're on lap number 5, and he does have 2 of the hard runners directly behind him now, of Daniel Kelson and Julian Klaffenbach in behind, and the top 4 have managed to break away from the rest of the field, as JST just on the teetering edge of that 1 second window, and just falling out of sight. He's got to use the RS to get himself back in it. He's got Matteo around about 8 tenths back right now. Brando in behind Matteo. So both of the Italian drivers trying to get themselves up into a good position here to gain the maximum amount of points as possible on Team Netherlands and the other teams around them.
Yeah, Julian's making a mistake there, coming in towards... nearly makes a mistake coming through Stavilo. That's going to give JSD now the second gap that he needs to get back into and get that DRS, which is going to then save him the ERS as a result. Tony Reich, I can't invite into the lobby. I have checked on my on PlayStation, on the app, on my iPad, and I can't invite him. I haven't got him added on F1, unfortunately. So Tony Reich might have to do with an invite from his teammate, but it could be too late because his teammate, by the time his teammate comes in, will be halfway through the race, and then it'll be pretty much ruined in terms of that. Hopefully he has got a spare invite. If anybody can give him an invite, that'll be brilliant. Yone Dobson though leading the way. Taisha Hardy second. Daniel Kelton in third. Whoever that is, you're an absolute legend. Tony Reich is back in the lobby.
Yeah, potentially Primoz, because I don't think I saw Primoz leave the session after retiring, so...
It's on Friends, that's why he's joined. There we go. So that's job done. We don't need to invite anyone. I've fogged that Moldova, and if he leaves the session again, he's got an extra invite off me anyway. So it's going to be all good. Taisha Hardy, though, all over the back of Yone Dobson, all over the back. A little bit of frame rate dropping as he joins his car there, does Tony Reich. Luckily, nowhere near as Kieran Humphries there has left the session as well. Hopefully we can get him back in. I know for a fine fact I do have him on my friends list. So you are going to see the absolute joys of me now inviting, if I can, Mr. Kieran Humphries back into the session. There's nothing really happening now. But what I was about to say, though, Mike, was Taisha Hardy set his personal best in the first sector. So he is definitely on with things right now. And, in fact, actually, I haven't got Kieran Humphries on my friends list. So, unfortunately, I can't invite him either.
Yeah, as Jensen, Kieran's teammate picks up a 3-second time penalty down in P15. It is once again it's kind of fallen away from Team England again here tonight, and it's kind of been the course of the European Esports Championship so far. Team England not really hitting the heights that we would expect of them.
Oh, Yone Dobzan nearly loses it coming through the bus stop train. Oh my god, Taicha Hardy, I think, was going to have an absolute field day if he lost it through there. It's pretty much like what Daniele Parodi did, albeit Yone kept that car under control. Yone still leads, Taicha Hardy second, Daniel Kelton there in third. But Yone Dobzan gets away with a big mistake coming through the bus stop chicane and has now got Taicha Hardy all over the back of him. And the Dutchman, who used to be known as IFR Rudy back in the day in EML, is now going to set its sights on Yone Dobzan for the race lead. Taicho maybe looking to the inside line, or is he conserving his tyres and his battery? That's exactly what he's doing. Not going to go for the move. Yone Dobzan hangs on to the lead, and I think
what he needs to do, try to keep enough wear in those tyres that he can extend the softs as long as possible. Keep his ERS up as well, but obviously in behind he does have Daniel Kelson, who has about 20 to 25% more ERS ready to deploy, and he could be potentially throwing a spanner in the works to Taito Hardy's race if push comes to shove.
Yeah, I think how this race has been managed as well, there's every chance that Taicho could actually go on to a set of medium compounder tyres. Mediums around here go off around 8 or 9 laps into their stint. So Yone Dobzan is probably aiming for us. We've got a yellow flag, and I think that's Jensen or Thomas Laminen, I'm tempted to say. One of them. Marlon. Was it? Oh, no, it was Tony Richeround. Sorry. They're all in white-coloured cars. That's why I'm getting confused.
Jensen picks up another 3-second time penalty. I believe Marlon picked one up as well. JST has picked one up as well. So a few 3-second time penalties are coming into play now, and this could be very detrimental coming to the end of the race, and because obviously around here it is a bit of a DRS train. We're seeing a DRS train from first all the way down to P10, and that 3-second from JST can knock him from a very good P5 place for Germany all the way down to the tail end of the top 10.
I think we're going to get 3 wide here, you know, Mike. Daniel Kelton's eyeing up the back of Taicha Hardy, eyeing up the back of Yone Dobzan, parting of the Red Sea potentially here from Daniel Kelton, looks to the inside line, draining that battery all there, trying to get to the inside line on the Team Netherlands driver, but he can't. Daniel Kelton there, Thurnings into second, ahead of Yone Dobzan. Taicha Hardy now in the lead of the race, and judging by how the ERS is going right now, Taicha Hardy's on 56%, Daniel Kelton on 70, didn't really use much up getting that overtake done either, and Yone Dobzan's on 78, so ERS usage, absolutely everything. And then you've got the man in fourth, Julian Klaffenbach there in fourth, 0.7 of a second behind, but he's on 41% of ERS, so he's at a big disadvantage going forward in this race.
Ewan, he had a little luck, he was on the ERS coming out of pool on there. Yone Dobzan tried to get back at Daniel Kelson there. And I think what Daniel did right there, very smart from the Norwegian. He just used the DRS to overtake Dobzan and did not want to push for the overtake on Taito Hardy because he knows his tyres are superior right now.
Yeah, this race is really beginning to halt up, and this is only not even, well, we're third of the way through. We're not even at the pit stops yet, and this race is already delivering. Taicha Hardy leading the way. Daniel Kelton in second, Yone Dobzan in third. There is a potential that Taicha Hardy could come in the pit lane this lap. He is going to continue on, which I think he should, because I think he should come in exactly when Yone is going to pit in and try and just mark his trump card, quite literally, in terms of that. Veloce Max there in the chat, Mr. Maxwell's partner himself in the chat, saying, what is Taicho doing on softs? Cooking, I hope, is the F7R man in the lead. Daniel Kelton second, Yone Dobzan in third. If you rewind the stream back, I predicted Taicha Hardy for the race win. Yone Dobzan is Mike's pick for the race win. And they're currently sitting first and third, but it doesn't seem that for long because Daniel Kelton and Yone Dobzan are going to be back on the back of Taicha Hardy, back past him down in towards Lake Holm, and Yone Dobzan might even go for the race lead around the outside. Forces Daniel Kelton too deep. Daniel Kelton now going to rejoin circuit. Yone got to be very careful that he gets the switch back right, and he does. He remains in second. Daniel there leading the way. This race is definitely hotting up. And even with this, Mike... Oh, Julian looking on the back of Taicho. Those tyres are going.
Yeah, I think those tyres are absolutely done right now. And what I was about to say before I saw Julian go for the move on Taicho, This was exactly what JST needed. He was outside that 1 second window. That little battle, that little mistake from Daniel Kelson going a little bit too deep into their comms was exactly what he needed to get back within DRS range.
Took the words quite literally right out of my mouth, because that's exactly what I was going to come on to as well. Matteo, Brando, Joe Van Bussel, Flopman, all in that DRS train now. Louis Dessen there in the chat, I hope I pronounced that name right. He's saying, why are they racing with my team cars? It's an international championship. It's an all-nations championship. So that's why they're on the F1 World cars. And I'll say, for example, Tyja Hardy's in an orange-coloured car. He's from the Netherlands. Jone Dovzan's in a Slovenian-coloured car. Or you could call it an LLR car, potentially, as well. He's there in second. The Team Slovenia, and Daniel Kelton representing Team Norway as well. And I think this is Libby's first time tuning in as well, which is always good to see, as we have our first pit stop, Mike, but it's not who I expected it to be. Hazara into the pit lane, feeling he can get the mediums to the end of the race from here.
Yeah, and this is a big goal from Hazara, because obviously he dropped out of DRS range on the top 9, and going for a good undercut here. This will be brilliant for him to try and get himself into conversations towards the podium positions, which would be fantastic for Team Norway.
And a reminder as well about the undercut around here as well. Undercut is more powerful than undercut. You can gain, from my experience of commentating on this game around here, around about 4 seconds in terms of an undercut. So that is a huge advantage to have from Hazara's perspective. He has got a 3-second penalty to his name, as does Jensen, as does JSD, as does Marlon. In fact, Jensen's got 6 seconds worth of penalties. Primoz did have a penalty, I believe. Obviously, he's out of the race, so he's obviously now down there in 19th position, already out of the race. Unfortunate incident for him. Frankie there in the chat. Hopefully my favourite former F7R engineer is doing very well indeed there in the chat. Daniel Kelton leading the way. Jone Dovzan second, Tyja Hardy in third. I believe Frankie left F7R, if I'm not mistaken. You can hang me later if you do want, if I'm wrong with that. But Daniel leads the way. Jone second, Tyja in third. And the pit stops, I think, will begin to happen from around about this lap. As Jensen has picked up another penalty out on track. Not going according to plan from the WR Console Tier 1 man, as Tyja Hardy is into the pits.
Yeah, and I think that's a good timing from Tyja Hardy. Definitely needed to come in. Now we're going to see where he's going to come out relative to Hazara. Obviously, who's just made a pit stop as well. Lapard also in as well. And we're going to be seeing first round of pit stops begin to happen.
Yep, set of mediums as well for Tyja Hardy. Exactly where I expected him to pit in. Pretty much around about lap 10 would have been his go-to point, and that's exactly what he's going to, as Jone Dovzan is all over the back of Daniel Kelton. In fact, he's side by side and past him. If we come on camera angle, Jensen Randall out of the race. I think that's in the pit lane. He's retired. He has indeed. Jensen is retired. That is him done for the evening. Jone Dovzan, though, leading the way. Daniel Kelton second. Julian Klaffenbach there in third. By the time as Brando and Joe Russell were having a side-by-side fight through Lake Holm. Didn't catch the entirety of that, but that looked a pretty spicy fight between them both.
Oh, I jumped onto it as it was midway through Lake Holm, so I didn't get to see the entire battle, but I saw enough, and what I saw, I liked.
I liked as well, and I think Brando actually went around the outside of Joe Van Bussel in that move, which is why I think we're going to like that even more. POV shots later on X, please. Jone Dovzan leading the way. Halfway through, here's the roll call. Daniel Kelton in second, Julian Klaffenbach there in third, JSD in fourth for Team Germany, then Matteo in fifth, Brando sixth, Joe Van Bussel seventh, Flopman in eighth, Bogdan Moldovan ninth, and agonised top 10. Not going according to plan. Could say agony for Team Romania right now. Tyja Hardy there in 11th. Hazara 12th. Marpa there in 13th. Thomas Lamnan in 14th. About to get overtaken by Tony Reich for 14th though. Marlon and Kieran Humphreys, the 17 drivers, still going out on track. Myself, James Head, Legacy Division Extraordinaire and EML lead commentator, taking you through the action alongside a Welshman of Ivor Bryn, Mike, alongside me in the comments box. An interesting Flopman into the pit lane, but the top 7 aren't. They're going further. I wonder if they're thinking about softs.
I mean, this is going to be a big undercut for the likes of Tyja Hardy and Hazara. If they are going for the soft compound tyres, are they going to have enough time to come back at them? That's going to be the big question now.
I think they will. I think they will. Taichi Hardy's already through on Flopman as Yone gets passed by Daniel Kelton once again down the straight. Daniel 2 into the race lead.
Oh, you
Taichi
Jerry
Hardy,
on Brando again.
Brando and Jerry Van Bussel side by side. Jerry's on the outside line. Camera angles are absolutely shocking. They're side by side though coming through this part of the track. Brandok's there, forced off track. Jerry Van Bussel on the outside line. He's forced off track as well. And it's a VSC because I think there's a broken front wing out on track. I think it's Thomas Laminen that is in strife. Thomas Laminen is the one in strife. That is coming through, I think, the final corner, if I'm not mistaken. It is indeed coming through turn number 1. He's lost his front wing. VSC deployed out on track. It would have given, I think, Mike, everyone a free pit stop, but by the time the VSC comes in, everyone's going to be bailing into the pits potentially.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting. Oh, it's a full course safety car, so that's even worse for the likes of Taichi Hardy and Azara now.
Is it actually going to be good for Taichi Hardy, though? Because the gap to the leader between him and Daniel is 21.1 seconds. That is obviously going to change before they come into the pit lane. And remember, a big important factor with the F1 World Cars, nobody knows who their teammates are. Any of these top 7 that decide to come in the pit lane, if they all double stack, Taichi Hardy is going to be saved. If they don't double stack and they're all in individual grids, Taichi Hardy potentially could be in trouble.
And of course, and with the restart lobby, they have no idea who their teammates are, because obviously in qualifying they can maybe try and figure out who their teammates are, but everyone's going to be flooding into the pits now, and let's see if we're going to get any double stacks going on.
Julian's into the pit lane, and they hit the back of Yone Dovzan into the pit lane there as well. Nobody double stacking just yet. Looks like everyone is in individual grids. However, I only spy, I think, 6 grid slots there.
I think Brando.
Out on track.
Brando got slightly double stacked.
Yeah, Brando, I think, has been double stacked. In fact, he has been double stacked. Brandox has been double stacked indeed. So he loses the position there to Agonize. He's there into the pit lane. I think everyone's got away with that scot-free. Taichi Hardy, by the way, look where he has come out. Lucky so-and-so. Jerry Van Bussel is the man ahead of him. I think Team Netherlands, overall, pretty much are going to look at that and think, yeah, we can work with that.
Absolutely. They're going to be thinking, yeah, they can work with it, but it is going to be quite difficult for Taichi. Obviously, the soft tyres early on are going to be so much better. It's a case of at what point do these soft tyres fall off the cliff? And they're going to fall away at the end of this race, but can the medium tyres compete in the early stages? That's going to be the question for Taichi.
Exactly, yeah, and obviously he's got the warmer compounder tyre out on track, but by the time the safety car decides to come in, which will be in 2, maybe even 3 laps time, everyone on the set of softs will have had their tyres warmed up right until that point. So the set of softs, in theory, would be quicker. But because we've got so long left in this race, Taichi Hardy and the guys who have chosen mediums, I think have honestly been quite smart. And as a result, your man there in second's not looking too shabby at all. Yone Dovzan. Taichi obviously has been done in by the safety car. But can I swap midway through and say Daniel Kelton's going to win this race?
I think that's up to the chat. Like, you know, me personally, I mean, I personally wouldn't change because, you know, I feel like that's just unjust to the game of predictions that we like to do. But I mean, it's up to everyone in the chat.
Chat, let me know if I can change my prediction to Daniel Kelton for the race win, or if I should stick with the man in 7th and hope that another safety car saves him. Let me know in the comment section, please. Daniel Kelton leading the way, Yone Dovzan 2nd, Julian Klaffenbach there in 3rd. Julian, honestly, is still, I think, one of the shocks in this race. GSD, we saw his pace in Monza. I'm not entirely surprised he's up there. But Julian, there in 3rd. Team Austria, as you said earlier on, have got the wooden spoon. They are currently, I'm going to get the standings up, just to remind you, while we take away with that safety car, we'll have a look, see if the safety car's coming in this lap. It's not, so we can run through the standings. Netherlands on 109, Romania 2nd, Norway there in 3rd, but Austria on 18 points. And with Julian Klaffenbach there in 3rd, Mike, right now, he is getting very good points for Austria, especially because he's the only driver that Team Austria have got tonight, as Hazara's back in.
Yeah, Hazara back in. What's called Thomas Laminen also coming in. Kieran Humphreys coming in. Just want to point this out. Can someone send Kieran Humphreys an invite? Because he is ghosted right now, and this is the perfect opportunity to get him back in.
Team
England.
I will try. I did have him on my friends list, and I couldn't find him, so I'm not sure if he restarted the game
Oh,
or
he's
something.
gone on to hards. Is he? He's put him on hards.
Oh, well, there's no real point joining back then, to be honest. I
Well,
mean that in the best sense. I mean that in the best sense. No, I don't have
I
him on
mean,
my friends list.
as a Welshman, I do enjoy seeing Team England down towards the back, but even I feel sorry for Team England at this point.
Yeah, Kieran Humphries' AI, because he left before the halfway stage, I don't think he's actually going to get those points, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, mate, on that. But because he's in AI, and because he hasn't completed beyond the subsequent race distance that there is in the rules, Kieran Humphries, I don't think, is going to get any points potentially here for Team England, which is going to make an even bad situation even worse.
I think England will be last now.
They will. Austria third
Yeah.
with Julian. Yeah, definitely so.
And you got what's called Team Finland as well.
And where are they out on track? Let's have a look. Larper's in 11th and Thomas Laminen in 16th. Yeah, Finland are even going to be getting points on Kieran Humphries right now. So at the minute, May's calling for the Southgate. The Southgate and out chance are coming out there in the chat. I think it's going to be Jay Wizzy out or Harley out potentially in terms of Team England here. They are the managers. They're supposed to be motivating the squad. Jensen retiring after 9 seconds worth of penalties. I can understand his pressure moving to PC is something. A safety car is going to come in this lap. Daniel Kelton now, the virtual Bert Marlander. He's now the virtual safety car. He's going to control this pace until the heart's content. And I think he's going to go from around about the overboard sponsorship, not here, but coming on the exit in towards bus stop chicane. I think he'll go just before the bus stop chicane.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, Yuri Dobson right now needs to be fully alert on this restart and try to get through on Daniel Kelton as quickly as possible and try and build a gap. So softs will go off at the end of this race. And he needs to be, I'm going to say he needs to be around about 2 seconds clear of Daniel Kelton before the tyres switch the other direction.
Difficulty with going through midway through the bus stop chicane. It's just literally right on the curb. He's gone. Daniel Kelton now flies, and Bjarne Dovzan's got to be right on top of this. He isn't right now. 5/10 of a second the gap. Running in towards turn number 1. Don't think anyone's eyeing up for a move. Maybe Marlon on the back at Tony Reich is eyeing up for a move. He is indeed. To the inside line is the German. That is one way to get a move done for Marlon. Needs the moves doing for Team Germany. Gets the job done. He's into 13th. Daniel Kelton, though, eyeing up a potential race win here for the second week in a row. JSC, though, is eyeing up P3 on his German-Austrian compadre in Julian Klaffenbach there in third. JSC there in fourth. 3 wide, nearly in the background. Taja Hardy flying through the middle of the pair of them as well. Matteo is round coming through. Lecom, I think he's gone straight on. As Matteo, he rejoined track shortly. He has indeed gone straight on. He rejoins track down in 16th position, and he spun again, and Matteo was there in strife, coming through on the grass of the banking, I think, on rejoining. He's there in 17th, right down the back end of the field. It's gone really to pot for Matteo, and you've got to feel sorry for him.
Yeah, absolute heartbreak for Matteo. He was up there looking for a good top 5 finish. Now it is all on his teammate Brando, who's in a bit of a Dutch sandwich, shall we say, at the moment.
Yeah, Dutch sandwich, possibly a Stroop waffle potentially coming the way there of Agonised as well, because he's got Flopman riding behind as well. Brando being the filling to that Stroop waffle right now there in 6th. God, I want a Stroop waffle. Daniel Kelton leads the way from Jurne Dobzan in 2nd. Julian Klaffenbach there in 3rd. Side by side, though, coming through the exit of Stavolo in towards Blanchimont. Bogdan Moldovan getting the job done on Larper, but Larper now fighting back. Marlon makes contact with him, and Larper's in the wall. Larper's in the wall. Marlon's going to have to try and go, unfortunately, I think, because Larper has, I think, got away with damage. He has. Larper's got away with damage, even getting rid of 180 there by Marlon. Larper there in 15. Unfortunate for Marlon. Just really... I'm not sure how to explain that, to be honest. He's defending very hard as well, Marlon, from Thomas Lamner. I'm not sure if the Finns might have got under his ear there. But Jone Dovzan's on the back of Daniel Kelton for the race lead. To the outside line, into the Lecom chicane. Is Jone going to get the race lead off Daniel Kelton? Round the outside he goes. On the set of softs. Job done. Jone through and he's into the race lead.
Yeah, and at the same time, you had Brando for Team Italy getting through on Jerry Rambus. Also, Jerry down into P6 for Team Netherlands now.
He is indeed, yeah. Matteo, by the way, down in 17th still. Molan has escaped the scene of that incident. It was just a little bit of movement on the braking, I think, and that's what caused it. Molan was closing in so quick on Larper. Larper was stuck right underneath the rear wing, basically, of the car in front, who I think was his teammate, if I'm not mistaken, and Thomas Laminen. And there, unfortunately, Molan out of the race, and that
Ooh,
could be a
Marlon's out.
safety car. It is.
Yes.
Safety car deployed on lap 16 of 22. And that is Marlon out, coming through Pouon. Of all places, he's also coming through Pouon. I'm not sure if him and Thomas Laminen were going side by side through there. But given where he has crashed, I'm assuming he's either got caught on the outside curb or him and Thomas Laminen have had a bit of contact there.
Potentially, we have to wait and see if anything is said in the stewards' reports involving that. And this is interesting now. Lap 16, will we see anyone come in for fresh saucer, perhaps?
Maybe.
Ooh,
Let's
Taito.
see. Taija Hardy is into the pit lane. Agonize is in. Flopman in. Bogdan Moldovan in. Tony Riesch in. Thomas Laminen staying out. And I think that's smart, actually, from Thomas Laminen. He is into the pit lane. He's not into the pit lane. And now he gains up into 7th position. Everyone else is going to be on fresh.
Humphries, AI.
Kevin Humphries' AI is sticking out there, and that's sort of hard. But Thomas Laminen, there in 7th, the Finn, I think that's not a bad shout at all to stay out. Taija Hardy, Agonize, Flopman, Bogdan Moldovan. Chat, back me up on this. They are going to be, what, 8th, 10th, 11th right now. Everyone else ahead are on warmer tyres. Are they going to make up that ground? Because if they do, it's going to be incredibly difficult with the talent that we've got currently filling out the top 7 places.
Well, I mean, here's another spanner that's been thrown in the works by you. Obviously, Taito Hardy's going to be very pleased about this. He's managed to get himself ahead of the AI of Kevin Humphries. Agonize and Flopman have to wait for the AI of Kevin Humphries to go, as they won't be able to overtake him until they cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, exactly, and that's going to be unfortunate. In fact, actually, Agonize is going to be in agony, but not overtaking that AI. It's the second time I've reused that pun here tonight, but hopefully nobody cares. Taija Hardy there in 8th now with Kevin Humphries ahead, behind them. That is going to put Agonize under so much pressure. Flopman, Bogdan Moldovan, they do not want to overtake that AI car. If they do, they're going to get a 5-second penalty added to their time at the end of the race, and it could spawn potentially a glitch as well, so I have heard on this game as well. But Yone there leading the way, Daniel Kelton second, Julian Klaffenbach there in third, Molan there leaving the session, thanking him though for attending. Mr. Double Avatar in the chat once again. Yone has to use the ERS. Use those tyres in time before those tyres lose their value. I agree. He's on that sort of softs. Your man, Mr. Mike, for the race win. Currently in P1 right now. It looks all rosy on the paper, on the side of things. But when you've got a fast Taija Hardy on a fresh set of softs in 8th position, you might have to watch out.
I mean, absolutely. But the fortunate thing for Yone is that Taito has 6 cars to overtake before he gets under the back of Yone Dobson. But here's going to be the issue now. I mean, those soft tyres should be able to get to the end now. There shouldn't be an issue now. It's a case of, can Yone get himself clear of Daniel Kelson now? And obviously, Julian Klaffenbach in behind. Could we be seeing Daniel Kelson take back-to-back victories here?
Potentially so. And remember what happened last week in terms of the racing. We had Daniel Kelton, Daniele Parodi. That action going on out on track was pretty aggressive in terms of the racing, and Daniele went too deep in towards turn number 1. He ended up half spinning the car, ended up, I think, down in 8th position in the end, and inherited Daniel Kelton the race win. And Daniel is in, albeit the same position, albeit with completely different drivers around him, but he's in the same position as what Daniele Parodi was last week. And I'm not tempting fate by saying that Daniel Kelton's not going to win the race, because I think at this point he might. I think it's going to be, though, whether or not Yone can get those tyres online, as Avatar's mentioned there in the chat. Whether or not he can get those tyres online, use his ERS, everyone's going to be on an even playing field. So this is a perfect opportunity for Yone Dovzan to try and street away. And I think the earlier he goes, the better it will be.
Yeah, of course. I believe safety car should be in at the end of this lap, so we'll have 4 racing laps remaining in this race. It's going to be very intriguing, and it's going to be interesting to see the guys that have already pitted. You know, what's called pitted under this safety car, Taito Hardy. How high up can he get? Agonize. Will he be able to get himself up the order? Obviously, JST currently has a penalty up in P4, which would promote the likes of Brando and obviously Jerry Van Bassel and Thomas Laminen as well. But that AI of Kieran Humphries could take Agonize away from Taito Hardy, and that is probably not what the ET8 man is really going to be wanting right now.
Dirk saying in the chat, actually, the CF10 man, welcome to him in the chat. I haven't seen him in a while. Jerry should have boxed. Would have only cost him 1 place. I agree. He's there in 6th position on a fresh set of softs. Whether or not those softs can come into play, though, remains to be seen. And also saying Kieran, his AI will cost the cars behind him 2 seconds or something. I agree on that as well. Yone Dobson now the virtual burn monitor. He's now the virtual safety car, and he's backing this field up much slower than what Daniel Kelton did, which indicates to me he is going to go probably on the exit of Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane and go early and try and string out the field, because I think that's his one and only chance that he has got right now of stringing out the field. As Agonize is overtaking Kieran Humphries' AI, they're going to get 5-second penalties if they're not careful. Kieran Humphries' AI is even dropping through the field. I wonder if he's doing that on his own volition. Yone Dobson, though, now coming through the exit of Blanchimont. This is where he should put the pedal to the metal and the foot to the floor, as Agonize picks up a 5-second penalty, as does Flopman. They were warned about this. Yone Dobson, though, goes and catches Daniel Kelton completely off guard into the bus stop chicane. Phenomenal restop for him. Now into the bus stop chicane for the 18th time. Yone Dobson leads. Daniel Kelton in 2nd. Daniel has a better run coming out of the bus stop chicane. Gains 0.2 of a second. Julian there in 3rd. But everyone now, 5-second penalties throughout the field. Julian on the back of Daniel. Great restart from Yone. He leads the way down and towards Rouge and Radion.
As Flopman gets a move down on Agonize, down in towards the source, and up into P9 goes the Flopman. Matteo with a 5-second time penalty as well. We'll see overtaking the AI of Kieran Humphries.
Taito Hardy on the back of Thomas Laminen as well, running down the straight in towards Lecom. He's on the inside line, trying to use up and burn as much ERS as he can. Might have to be a late move on the brakes from Taito Hardy. Likes to get his elbows out. That's his elbows out. Too much there from Taito Hardy. Thomas Laminen has to escape off track. I think they get away with it, though. And to be honest, if I was a steward, I wouldn't have a look into that, because Thomas Laminen was forced out wide. He still ended up ahead. Nothing really in that for me. Taito Hardy in 8th. Flopman there in 9th, really still chasing him down though as Taito Hardy's on much fresher softs compared to Thomas Laminen, but this was my fear, Mike. He's there in 8th, he's having to make up ground, and now he could be up to 7th because he's eyeing up a move in towards the Fania chicane on the outside line. Impossible normally, but on a fresh set of softs he might just do this. He hangs to the inside line. Thomas Laminen there on the outside, forced off track there slightly, brings Flopman there through. Absolute carnage in behind. Thomas Laminen spins. Taito Hardy through and he's into 7th. That got far too aggressive, far too quickly.
Yeah, there's elbows out and then there's elbows out, and that was a bit too much for my liking.
And Flopman now, as a result, is all over the back of Taito Hardy, who I think might have right side end plate damage on that car as well. Trying to defend, might even go into the back of his teammate if he's not careful. Team Netherlands do not want that as they lead the championship. Taito Hardy, though, fighting as if Elias defends on it. They're in the lead of the championship still, as it stands, so they shouldn't really be worried, but they should be worried because Flopman's gone into the back of Taito Hardy, caused a mass collision in behind. Thomas Laminen is retired there in the pit lane. Plenty of drivers with front wing damage. This race is going to pot. And a top out through Rouge and Radion, oh my god. How?
It is absolutely
Bedlam
off here in the closing stages of this race. As look at this, a battle for what is this? This is a battle for peace.
Oh, there's another. Hazara spins, and that's going to be important for Team Norway as well. Hazara spun, Matteo got caught up in that as well. Taito Hardy now back through and he's into 12th. Right side lane plate missing on Agonize, doesn't care. He's up the inside line of Tony Reich and gets the move done. Brilliant stuff from the ET8 man. He's through there, he's into 9th. Yone Dobson leads the way, by the way. Daniel Kelton 2nd. Julian Klaffenbach there in 3rd. But for how long? Because GSD now is all over the back of the Austrian. Going to try and find a way through. Everyone else, it's absolute bedlam in the midfield. Yone Dobson leading the way. Daniel Kelton 2nd. I would say, Mike, to be honest, it concerns the front four.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and to be honest, I'd even yeah. I mean, with JSD's penalty, I think it just concerns the front three as it currently stands. But this is going to be very intriguing as it looks like Unity Dobson unable to break away from Daniel Kelson, and DRS will be activated as we go on to lap 21 now. So here begins a game of DRS chicken.
ZQ there in the chat saying this is a zoo. This is a zoo tamed full of wild animals, and I think they've just been unleashed, quite literally. Yoni Dobson leading the way from Daniel Kelton. Julian Klaffenbach there in third. JSD there in fourth. Brando in fifth. Joe Van Bussel in sixth. And if all things kick off in front, Joe Van Bussel and Brando are not entirely out of this either. They are very good drivers on that day, and they could keep up with JSD and Julian Klaffenbach there, quite literally, at the best of times. As here's Daniel Kelton on the back of Jonas Dobson, looking to the inside line, but he is going to back out, and he's going to back out until it's hard content, because Mike, he's got 86% of ERS, Jonas Dobson on 76, Julian on 63, JSD on 71, Daniel Kelton is sitting pretty, and Veloce Academy are going to be all over this.
Yeah, Daniel Kelton absolutely in prime position right now with the amount of ERS he has available to him. Obviously, the DRS on the final lap. Yone Dobson's going to have to really get his elbows out, but my God, a big snapper in Pouon.
And he's around and out. And I didn't see that camera angle was absolutely diabolical on the stream. Apologies if you missed that, but Yone Dobson in the wall has just put Daniel Kelton in the lead of this race. But for how long? Julian Klaffenbach. Mays might be getting this right. Julian to win potentially could now be happening. Daniel Kelton now leading the way. Again, for the second week in a row, inherited the race lead just before the final lap of the race. He inherited the lead on the final lap of the race in Italy. Now has got to fight the attention of Julian Klaffenbach. Is Daniel, though, going to get cocky in terms of his tactics? And is he going to try and force Julian into DRS range? Coming in towards turn 1. Will Julian attack him in towards turn number 1? I don't think he should, and he's not. But Daniel Kelton could play it dirty, and that's exactly what he's doing as JSD moves to the inside line. And I think Julian Klaffenbach in all of this has not got DRS.
It's just unbelievable right now. As a side by side for Roshan Radion. Brando,
he hasn't.
Daniel Kelton and
Julian's a sitting duck. Julian's a sitting duck. Here comes Daniel Kelton to the outside line. Joe Van Bussel getting involved in this as well to the inside line. This race is manic. Brando's round in the foreground. Joe Van Bussel called up in that as well. Team Netherlands' race going down the pot. And Daniel Kelton played it smart. Knew exactly what Julian was going to be doing and follow him. Daniel, though, broke halfway through turn number 1. That's why Julian didn't get the DRS. And Daniel Kelton now leads the race win. And that is definitely it because Julian's got a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, Julian pushed a little bit too hard at the end. And it just went to absolute pot for the Austrian. But a podium is still a very good finishing position. As long as he maintains his composure here in the final sector.
We're going to have to do some quick maths. But I believe Team Norway might be taking the lead of the championship. Just for my quick maths and just from how they're positioned out on track right now. But remember, look at the penalty situation. Taicha Hardy's going to be gaining positions. That's what you're going to have to factor in. This is all going to be put in the steward's room. But Daniel Kelton, as JSD's going to move on Julian Klaffenbach into a bus stop chicane, the Austrian and the German fighting side by side for second. Daniel Kelton through the final corner, though, takes the race win. Julian Klaffenbach to the line, just hangs on to second from JSD, 400ths of a second in the end. I think they will hang on to that. Larper in the end is in fourth. But Taicho Hardy, because of all of that, and all of those penalties, those 5-second penalties inevitably probably going to get removed, Taicho Hardy has finished fourth provisionally, and I think has saved Team Netherlands' bacon quite literally.
Yeah, I mean, with the 5 seconds possibly getting removed, I think it'll probably be like a P8, maybe a P7 finish for Taicho Hardy if the 5 seconds are removed. So it's still a good recovery for Taicho Hardy after the incident in the end of the race there. But my God, it absolutely kicked off, and that man, Daniel Kelson, top step of the podium, second week in a row for Team Norway. Incredible from the Veloce Academy, man.
And that is why he is part of Veloce Academy. He is smart, he is astute in terms of his driving. Veloce Academy have got a good one on their hands, trust me. Daniel Kelton takes the race win here in the European Esports Championship. It will definitely go down to the final round of the championship where we are going to have to do some very good GCSE maths, which I'm sure we're all excited for. But Daniel Kelton does not have a Grand Slam in the end. He takes the race win. Didn't take the fastest lap, however, but took pole position, of course. Got the race win. Not a full Grand Slam, but 2/3 of the way through there. Julian Klaffenbach there in second. JST in third. Tyja Hardy in fourth. Larfer in fifth. Flopman in sixth. Tony Reich there in seventh. Bogdan Moldovan in eighth. Brando in ninth. And Joe Van Bos in the top 10. My voice is going. Agonize in 11th. Hazara 12th. Mateo 13th. Kieran Humphries there in 14th. Yone Dovzan there in 15th, and Thomas Lamlin, Marlon, Jensen, Primoz, quite a few DNFs there in that race. Mateo getting the fastest lap of the race there, right down at the back end of the field. Merkel Soriano there in the chat saying embarrassing racing from them. Demolition Derby as per usual. I completely agree. Tice also in the chat saying why Daniel is my GOAT. He is, of course, a part of the Veloce Academy setup is Mr. Tice, who used to actually own a league with me in in GT Sport back in the day, believe it or not. But it's a typical mess. It's not EEC. It's not any other event without a typical mess and without driving standards like that. But Daniel Kelton, Mike, takes another race win. And is there any stopping the man from Veloce Academy with 2 race wins in a row and landing Team Norway in a shout of the title?
Oh no, this is going to be the big debate now going into what will be the final race of the season. Can Team Norway overturn Team Netherlands? And I did do a little bit of quick maths there as we were looking through, and it is 3 drivers with the 5-second time penalties that would put themselves above Taito Hardy, so it would be a P7 finish. So I was right on the money with the P7 finish, but unfortunately for both our predictions, James, it went to pot.
It went to pot. Yone went to pot by himself. Not that. He didn't make a mistake. He didn't get contacted by anyone. He made a mistake by himself. So he put his foot in his own grave, quite literally, in terms of that mistake. And certainly had the backing of you in terms of the predictions. Do not ever predict him ever again, I think, is what he's going to tell you right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I also predicted a double Slovenia podium as well. Both of them DNF'd. So maybe I should not do predictions anymore. Unless I predict England. Unless I predict England, because I'm okay with that then.
But a bit like the star signs, they're not normally quite accurate, I think, in terms of the predictions. And I think we are quite literally Scorpio and Sagittarius right now in terms of the star signs. Let's have a look, though. Instead of seeing our beautiful faces on the stream, let's have a look, of course, at the final race of the season. It is Silverstone. It's the home of British motorsport. It's home for at least one of us in the commentary box as well. Not going to say who, but it is a track that is going to produce plenty of action, plenty of drama, possibly plenty of controversy as well. Britain next week, Mike, all down to this and one race only.
Yep, the home of British motorsport, of course. I mean, I am going to claim it as a home Grand Prix for me because I am British as well. But yeah, but all down to the wire, the home of British motorsport. We're going to be seeing who's going to come out on top. Will it be Team Netherlands? Obviously, they've been fantastic over the course of the season. The last 2 races, though, we've seen a few slip-ups from Team Netherlands that has brought the likes of Norway back into it. And it's all coming down to this now.
It is all going to come down to this indeed. As ZQ saying in the chat, Marco, you are kind. Avatar mentioning 3 drivers, no penalty in Belgium Grand Prix. Nice clean race. That is sarcasm if I've ever seen it from Mr. Avatar in the chat. And ZQ in the chat. They defend their country like that. Why they don't care of their country then? It's a little bit of a fun championship. It's the first time we've done something like this. It's the first time I think something like this has ever been done in terms of F1 as well. Obviously, there's going to be teething problems. Obviously, there's going to be bad driving standards. It's just part and parcel of the racing on this game, let's be fair. But what I hope they can do, and if this was real, and if we had F1 esports teams watching and the likes, they would be doing their country proud if they took it seriously. And unfortunately, they're not taking it seriously. But everything depends on the final round of the championship, Mike. They have to take it seriously for the final round because it's still all to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. And all to play for, everything on the line, national pride, and honestly, I still think it's going to be very tight as well from like the rest of the teams there. Romania, France, Italy, Slovenia. I think even Germany have probably closed the gap and up ahead as well. So it's going to be close between a good 7 of the teams. So we're going to have to wait and see. Obviously, there'll be stewards reports. There'll be conversations about what we saw at the end there as well. Obviously, that's not what we like to see. Obviously, the elbows getting pushed out just a little bit too much, a bit too harsh on the defending. But yeah, I mean, it's all brewed up to really spice things up for the final round at Silverstone.
Yeah, it is all brewed up indeed. The best place you can tune in for is here next week, League Racing TV, 8 p.m. UK time. Well, literally UK time because we are in Britain. And hopefully it is a good race. Let's hope the driving standards are good. Let's hope we get some really decent names there as well. I know PCF1 is going next week, so we might not get the likes of Thomas Ronhaar and the likes of Nicholas Longer here. But regardless of who turns up, it is still going to be cracking action. A big thank you, by the way, to our sponsors. I'm not sure if you can see it on my camera. Next Level Racing and indeed Rising Lines for this beautiful beanie that they provided me as well. I will look like Parappa the Rapper, I promise, next week when I put this live on stream. This will go down a no context F1 history if I put this hat on. But that is it from us. Really hope you enjoyed your evening. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new, if you enjoyed the stream. Me and Mike are going to be back next week for the final round of the European Esports Championship. A reminder as well about EML. EML sign-ups are currently open for Season 6, both PC and indeed console on live. I think it's PlayStation for console, if I'm not mistaken. Season 6 sign-ups are live. I think they close on the 24th of January, if I'm not mistaken, judging by the information that I have got in front of me. And of course, Mike, we are possibly going to be together for EML next season as well. So it is all going to be to play for, certainly. So get your team signed up, no matter who it is. I'd love to see the likes of Veloce Academy there, the likes of Ferrari Esports sign up for EML PC. You have zero excuse, my friends. Zero excuse. Get involved, even if it's with an academy lineup. It's something.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, we're looking forward to the new season in EML. But likewise, obviously, we're also looking forward for the season finale next week at Silverstone.
If you're wondering, by the way, who has signed up currently in terms of the teams just before Christmas, the likes of LDL are in there. The likes of CPI Esports, Legacy Division qualifiers, I'm proud to say as well, in CPI Esports. IRT are in there. ET8 have signed up. Team TF10 have signed up. NLR have signed up. G League have signed up. Shazoo have signed up. Best teams on console are going to be signing there for PlayStation. Get your team involved. Get in the mix because you do not want to miss out on EML Season 6, our biggest ever season as well with the prize pool at that. But I'm going to end it off here. I'm waffling on as always. Thank you so much for watching, and until next week in Silverstone, goodbye.